Most Christmas light businesses only close around 15% of their leads, and majority have an average job that ranges between $1,200 to $1,500. Every lead you do not close in season is money you will not see again until next year, and you only have a 3 to 4 month period to where you can go aggressive when it comes to getting leads for your Christmas light business. And most owners think they have a marketing problem if they're not closing at the rate that they would like, when in reality, almost nobody has only an exclusive marketing problem. It's always going to be a mix between marketing, sales, and operations all leaking together. And if you're not closing Christmas light leads the way you want, it will always come back to those three categories. If one of these is broken, your close rate drops. If two are broken, your season's going to be pretty painful. And if all three are broken, the season is going to be basically lost. By the end of this video, you will know which one of these is your bottleneck and what to fix before next season so you can close more of the leads you are already getting. And I'm going to walk you through each one, give you examples, and then give you a quick self-diagnosis checklist at the end so you know if it's a marketing problem, a sales problem, or an operations problem, or if you have all three as a problem. So let's start off with the most common one that people blame, which is going to be a marketing problem. And the first thing that I want to tackle is volume and timing. A lot of Christmas light businesses wait until October to start marketing instead of warming up people in August, even in September, or throughout the entire year. So you need to be hitting your customer list to get those pre-bookings, because that's going to give you momentum, and those are going to be the easiest leads to close because these are people that have already taken either interest in your business or they've already worked with you. One thing that I also noticed too when it comes to marketing is that a lot of Christmas light businesses only depend on one or two channels instead of having a full stack. And that's because they don't have the proper data. And I'm not saying that every Christmas light business needs to go ahead and market their business in 8 different ways, but you need to go ahead and make sure that you're getting the type of volume that you need. And that means that you may have to try 4 or 5 other different methods instead of just saying, I only hung out, I only put up yard signs, or I only went door knocking, or I only used Facebook ads or Google ads. So you have to have more of a marketing mix. But if you actually do track your numbers for marketing and you understand the seasonality, then you will be able to, you can only have 2 or 3 marketing channels and maximize them as much as possible. Because that's the next thing I want to talk about, is the channel mix and seasonality when it comes to marketing. Most channels are probably balanced because not only are people starting to get prepared to look for Christmas light services, but also their interest is still there as well. So Facebook, Google ads, yard signs, all of it is pretty much balanced in October from the data that I have seen working with over 50 plus businesses that offer Christmas light services. And in November and early December, search and websites dominate because buyers are actively hunting. So Google ads, SEO, your website presence, those are going to dominate over other channels like Facebook and like Instagram ads, because guess what? People are hunting, right? And then you're going to get diluted because that's when everybody's putting out their yard signs. That's when everybody's marketing on Facebook. So if you're at the right place at the right time, you will get a high volume of leads. And so if you ignore this and you spend the same way every month, you will feel like your marketing is broken when the problem is you are using the wrong tools at the wrong time. When it comes to your marketing too, you want to go ahead and look at your message and your friction. Most Christmas light businesses never communicate minimum pricing or what you do not do. And so that's where you get guys saying, hey, I only got permanent lights when I don't offer permanent lights. Or they might say, hey, I keep getting these unqualified leads that aren't trying to pay for my service. But you have to go ahead and convey that message, whether that's going to go ahead and be on your website, your Facebook lead forms, your Google ad landing pages. You have to go ahead and even in your sales process, which we'll get to here in a minute. And so when you have lower friction, which means that you don't tell people your minimum pricing, when you don't go ahead and tell people like what you do or do not do when it comes to we provide the lights to you, the customer doesn't know that then at that point, then you're going to get lower friction. You're going to get more leads, but lower quality. But if you have a good sales process, you can close a lot of them, which we'll get to. Higher friction means that if you are conveying your minimum pricing, if you tell your customers what you do and do not do in all of your marketing, then at that point, you'll have fewer leads, but you'll have higher quality. So you have to understand that. Now, I'm not saying should you have lower friction or higher friction. It just depends on how your business is set up. And so you have to go ahead and understand your message and your friction. And speaking of that, when you're marketing, you want to go ahead and educate your customers, because too many Christmas light business owners get frustrated and get annoyed when people call or they inquire and they say, I want to know about your process. And instead of seeing that as a chance to educate, they get annoyed and they get irritated, like, this person should know what I need. The more that you educate your customer, the easier it is to close. Because when it comes to Christmas lights, a lot of your customers don't necessarily have that education up front. And if you don't have a way of conveying that in your marketing, you're going to have a lower close rate, especially if your sales aren't in place as well. So you need to have simple videos or content that explains pricing, process, and why your lights are different. You even need to send this in your invoices, your emails, and social media profiles to send to people to just give them that educational content. And when it comes to retention and pre-booking for next year, that's something that you can do too. When you're doing takedowns, that's an opportunity to also give people a deal or an offer that they cannot refuse as well, to get those pre-bookings, this year's install. So like, you need to treat every season like a fresh start instead of a compounding asset. You're not using this year's install list as your first round of pre-booking offers for next year, right? And so you need to be doing that. So even when you're doing takedowns in January, go ahead and talk to your customers about what you could be doing, or like getting them on the books for that upcoming season. And you may not close everybody, but that extra 10 to 15% is going to be good for you and give you that momentum. So your easiest closes every year should be for the people whose lights you installed last year. If that is not happening, you have a marketing and retention problem. So let's talk about the next one as well, which is going to be a sales problem. So sales problem. The biggest problem that I see when it comes to sales is that people don't have speed to lead and responsiveness. So there's no one dedicated to answering or calling back leads quickly. You don't know how many of my clients, when it hits November and they're getting 5 to 6 leads every single day at that point, and they're also handling the job, I see an enormous amount of calls being missed. So you're on the roof all day, so calls pile up, forms pile up. And so, as I said, even in November, 5 to 6 leads will come in and it will overwhelm a one-person operation. And so you have to have mechanisms in place to where you can go ahead and answer the phone and get back to leads as soon as possible. Because remember, this is an interest-based service, not necessarily a service where people need it. And so another thing that I see as a sales problem is that most custom site businesses don't understand that you can't treat every lead the same. So a returning customer is going to have a different sales process than a Google Ads lead, than a Facebook Ads lead. They're going to all have different processes. So you have to adjust how you handle those and have certain processes in place. It's a different experience and it's a different process depending on how you go ahead and got that customer. And so going on to that is that you're missing a discovery process. You don't have a simple discovery process so that you know how, what objections you're going to go ahead and face before you even give the estimate, or you have to bake this into your sales process so that you close more. There's going to be about 6 discovery questions that you can go ahead and ask. And I guarantee you these are a lot of objections that you guys are getting. For example, you want to ask, have you ever had professional Christmas lights installed before? You need to ask that in your discovery process whenever somebody's contacting you that is not a returning customer, because you want to see how much you have to educate them. And so if they said, I've never had this done before, then you know you're going to need to do some education. Another question you want to go ahead and ask is, what did you like or dislike about the last company that you used? Whenever you go ahead and you give your pricing or your service offering, you're going to know what they liked and what they didn't like, so you can go ahead and map your service to their pain points at that point. You can also ask a timing question when you want these lights installed. You need to ask that question in the discovery process before you even tell them about your service, so that you know when they want it. If they say, I want it tomorrow, and you're booked out for the next 3 to 4 days, then you're going to probably have a lower likelihood of even closing that lead. And you also need to ask who else is involved in this decision, so you don't get at the end of whenever you're going ahead and you're pitching your service, they don't end up saying, I need to talk to my husband, or I need to talk to my wife, or, I'd like the kids to be involved in this decision. So you need to ask about the decision maker in the discovery process as well. Another question that most people don't ask, hey, are you talking to any other companies? How many are you talking to? Are we the last ones you're talking to, or you got 2 or 3 more that you're going to be talking to after us, right? Because then guess what you can lead with? Well, if you like our pricing, if you like our service and how we do things, would you be open to going ahead and pulling the trigger today? And if they're not really willing to pull the trigger today, then guess what? You need to schedule a follow-up with them and say, hey, you know what? I want to be the last person that you actually talk to. So let's go ahead, reschedule this call again, and I can follow up with you in X amount of days to see what those options look like before you waste your time going into a full sales pitch at that point. And so the 6 discovery questions that you should be asking is, have they ever got it done before? What do they like or dislike about the last company if they have gotten it? When do they want the lights installed? Is there anybody else involved in that decision? Are they talking to other companies? And what are they hoping to get out of the service and expecting to pay? If you tie these in to your process whenever you answer the phone, I promise you will close at a higher rate and you won't get hit with these objections at the end of the call. Now, let's talk about one of the most important things when it comes to sales is having a back-end selling system. So most Christmas light businesses don't have a back-end selling system. They have no CRM, no basic pipeline, no automatic follow-up or quote sent. Because what's going to happen sometimes is that you're attributing leads the wrong way. If I'm a customer, I'm reaching out to you to go ahead and ask about Christmas lights and it's September, I'm not looking to get my lights up in September. I might be looking to get them done middle of October, end of October, beginning of November. And so if I don't have a way of continuously following up with that customer at that point, I just lost them and they might go with a company that ends up having that back-end sales system. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to sales is you have no sales data. So when you don't have sales data, you don't know how many leads you need to get. You don't know your average ticket. You don't know what you need to do to reach your goal. So you don't know how to even know your close rate by the marketing channels that you have. Therefore, if it's like a lead from Facebook or a lead from Google Ads, from your website, from a yard sign, you don't know how to properly know how you close those leads or what your rate is. You cannot answer how many leads I need to hit my goal because you're making decisions based on your feelings. You're making decisions based on like, well, I feel like it's slow or I feel like people don't want to pay my price, when you just need to know the tangible numbers because then you can make a proper decision. If you don't know your close rate, your average ticket, and how many leads you need, and you do not have a simple discovery process and you don't have a back-end sales process as well, you will have a sales problem. And most likely you're not closing and it's going to be attributed to sales mainly. Now let's talk about operations. Operations, people, our favorite thing to talk about, right? So when it comes to operational problems, the number one operational problem that I see most Christmas light businesses have are people and staffing. They're not hiring enough people early enough. They try to train people in like October and November in the middle of the season when you're already buried. If you don't properly staff your operation or if you don't properly staff your business, then what ends up happening? Jobs fall behind and then you push estimates out 1 or 2 weeks. And guess what? When it comes to Christmas lights, customers feel like they get less time to enjoy the lights. So the offer feels less valuable when you say, hey, I can give you an estimate in 1 or 2 weeks from now. Because when it comes to Christmas lights, the more time it takes them, like the less time that they have to have those lights up, the less valuable your service feels. And so the longer that these people can have their lights up, the better it is for them. That's why you have to make sure that you outfit your team, that you're doing your hiring, and you have a game plan, whether that's going to be your existing crew. You're going to transition. Do you have a different crew? Are you going to have temporary, helpers in that sense? You need to flesh this out before the season begins so that you're properly outfitted. If you know your numbers, you'll know what marketing channels you need. You know how many leads you need. Therefore, you know how many techs that you'll need to go ahead and hire based off previous year's numbers as well. And training timing when it comes to operations. So they have no training for takedown, safety, maintenance, and then they just end up not closing as many leads as they need to possible because they don't have the operational capacity. They don't have their guys, and even themselves don't have the training. I don't have this type of equipment or products, which we'll talk about in a minute. Or they're like, I don't know how to install those type of lights. And that's what ends up happening. So therefore, you're going to have a lower close rate. So you have to think about training as well. When it comes to Christmas lights, you only have about a 3 to 4 month period of a feedback cycle. And what do I mean by a feedback cycle? Well, if you're hiring a salesperson, then at that point, it's like they only have 3 to 4 months to understand the job super quick. So you have to give them those fast feedback cycles during that time. Or when it comes to feedback cycles for training, they only have those 3 to 4 months. Another thing when it comes to operations is how are you doing job selection and your minimums? Because you need to go ahead and know operationally where you're going to operate, where you're not going to operate, where you're going to take jobs from, where you're not going to take jobs from. Because you don't want to say yes to every tiny job in every far out location. So in your operations, you need to set a clear minimum ticket. So you pack the schedule with small. So like you need to set a clear minimum. You have to define your ideal Christmas light customer. What area are they in? The type of home, the budget level. So if your schedule is full of small, low margin jobs, you're forced to say no or delay when a perfect high ticket customer calls. But you want to go ahead and know your service offering. Are you going to offer permanent lights? Are you not going to offer permanent lights, as we talked about? So make sure that you have enough supplies. I know that's an easy one to go ahead and say. It's not about marketing sales, but it's like make sure you have enough supplies to go ahead and ensure that you can complete the job that you want to go ahead and get. So service delivery and complexity. That's one thing when it comes to operations as well, to kind of piggyback off what we just talked about. A lot of guys that are new and wonder why they're not closing at the rate they do is because they don't plan for maintenance and service calls. Operationally, guess what? They could have 2 or 3 customers that call that same day and say, hey, there's a problem with my lights. And they're like, oh man, but I already have these 4 or 5 jobs booked on the schedule. Okay, then these 3 or 4 people just called me looking for estimates. Instead of giving these people estimates now, I have to go ahead and do the maintenance and service calls for lights that may have been faulty that these people rented out for me. So you have to go ahead and understand that in your service delivery, right? So you need to make sure that you have a systemized way for your takedowns as well, because customers can get very angry when it comes to that. So let's go through the quick diagnosis of all 3, right? The marketing, the sales, and the operations. So for marketing, rate yourself on a 1 to 5 based on the lead volume and the timing. What channels are, the various channels that you're marketing and you're tracking, right? And you're tracking your previous data. And then also, the educational content that you have out there and your database usage. How many repeat customers or how many customers are you reaching out to? You want to go ahead and rate yourself on 1 to 5 for that. For sales, rate yourself on 1 to 5 based on your speed to lead. What is your average rate of you picking up the phone? And if you don't pick up the phone, how long is it taking you to get back to a customer, right? Or a potential customer? Your discovery script and your sales script, do you have that in place? 1 to 5, like rate yourself on that. And your follow-up system as well, your back-end selling system. Rate yourself on 1 to 5 for that for sales. Operations, staffing and training before the season. Rate yourself 1 to 5 for that. And map out your job selection and your minimums, and then your inventory and products that you're going to use, and your service delivery systems. What services you're going to do, how you're going to do them, are they systemized? Because whichever category has the lowest score is going to be your main bottleneck. That is where you will get the biggest lift for your close rate going into next season. So do not make the mistake of only blaming one area. Your marketing, sales, and operations either support each other or they sabotage each other. Most Christmas light businesses do not need to triple their leads. They just need better systems across marketing, sales, and operations so they can close more of the leads they already get. You can double your business by simply you increase your close rate. Every job you install this year is not just revenue for the next season, it's a chance to pre-book next year and build a customer list that makes every season easier. The more that you go ahead and you increase your customer database, the easier it is. So if you keep losing leads because of weak marketing, sales, or operations, you never get that compounding effect. So if you want help building a complete Christmas light marketing system that gives you that consistency of leads and respects the seasons, the lead channels, and your capacity, that is exactly what we do for exterior cleaning and lighting businesses. So go ahead and click the link below. Tell me a little bit about your market, your current close rate, and my team will map out what needs to change, so that next season is your most profitable one yet and not just your busiest. And so go ahead and click that link to get on a lead flow acceleration call with me and my team, and we will map out an entire system for your Christmas light business so that you're getting a consistency of leads, and we'll make sure that you have a higher close rate. You want to improve your season, go ahead and click that description. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.